Hello friends, I'm LUV Antonym, author of the books Don't Be a Stranger and Don't Be a Stranger to Grief, as well as consultant with Rodan and Field Skin and Hair Care, which brings me to you with this channel where I love to share resources about interventions, products, self-care tips, and things that I have found very helpful in my life and or that I've shared often and frequently with friends, family, loved ones, and clients that I serve. My hope is that you find something valuable on this channel. If you have any interest in supporting me, I would love if you would take a look at my products for the best skin and hair of your life, and or take a look at my books. So Don't Be a Stranger is on basically shining your light on the world and leading with kindness and leading by example and connecting with others in more meaningful and memorable ways. Don't Be a Stranger with Grief is about connecting with yourself by writing yourself a letter as a way of healing feelings of loss and loss around anything in life, from people to dreams to changes of life circumstance or new jobs or new beginnings, whatever that might look like. So what I wanted to talk about today is what's called the LUV acronym. The LUV, and it's LUV, not LOVE, but LUV is a communication tool that is often used in relationship counseling. It was shared with me by a really well-respected colleague, and I love it. I think it is such a powerful intervention, and I share it with a lot of my clients. And I'm often asked if there's any online resources for it or videos on it, and I haven't found them. And so I thought, you know what, why don't I just pop on and do a recording myself for YouTube, and that way it'll be available for when people would like to see it demonstrated. And so let's start with what LUV stands for. I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can. L stands for listen. Okay, L is listen. Listen is simply verbal and nonverbal cues of listening, really more so nonverbal. It's me making direct eye contact with the person that I'm talking with or listening to. It's putting a cell phone away, turning off any notifications that might be disruptive, which, by the way, I just realized I forgot to hit silent on my phone. And so rather than be awkward and do that now, we're just gonna hope for the best, and I'm gonna try my best to get through the video before we have any interruptions. So I apologize in advance if that happens. And incidentally, I'm in a hotel room. I wanted to give you a view of the beach, but it's kind of rainy and dreary and the lighting was all off. So I don't think you'd appreciate that very much. That said, so it's putting away anything that could be disruptive, making sure that you're fully present during the exchange of the LUV tool, and just really being attentive, letting the person know that you're listening. You understand. This is communicating to the person that was sharing with you that you heard them, you understood them. This is your effort to convey empathy, being able to put yourself in their shoes and being able to connect with that part of you that can connect to a similar feeling from your own life. This is very different than saying, I know how you feel. That is not healthy emotional validation. We don't know how other people feel because we have not walked the mile in their shoes. What we can say is, gosh, I can imagine if I were you, I might feel X, Y, Z. That's where we want to end up. The understanding part of this intervention sounds like what I hear you saying, or what I heard you say is ... Did I get that right? Now, it is critical that you utilize that whole frame when you get to you understand of the LUV acronym. Because if you just say what I heard you saying is, then you don't ask for the clarification or the kind of the fact check, accuracy check, then you don't know if you actually heard them right. So what I hear you saying is XYZ, did I get that right? And you give the person an opportunity to say yes, which, by the way, when they feel heard, their body language will change. You'll hear them audibly not only say yes, but you might even notice like a relaxation in their body, that they actually feel seen in that moment. And that is so powerful. I mean, it can honestly, as a provider, when I'm going through this role play with patients, I can even feel it in my own body, and that's just in role play mode. And I've shared with patients, I feel so connected to you right now, and I'm not even your wife. Can you imagine how powerful this would be if you take it back to your partner and you do it just like you did with me? Because what I just felt was I felt connected. I felt like you heard me. I feel like you see me. And so that's, of course, an example if I'm teaching a husband this technique, or a partner in a relationship this technique. So L, listen, you understand. What I heard you say is blank. Did I get that right? V is validate. If I were you, I could see how I might feel X also, or I could see from your perspective how you might feel XYZ. This is the most powerful part of this tool, because this is where you're letting that person know gosh, you know what? I don't think you're crazy. Your feelings make sense to me. Your feelings are safe with me. I hold them sacred. I'm holding space for them, and I'm willing to acknowledge them. This is not where you fix. This is not where you offer advice. This is definitely not where you minimize the person's feelings, justify, rationalize, or make excuses. And those are some of the most common pitfalls I see when people are practicing communication tools, or the LUV acronym, or emotional validation. In so many of the communication books, you'll hear the biggest faux pas is that people, when they attempt to emotionally validate or even offer an apology, they have a tendency to minimize a sense of personal responsibility by excusing or rationalizing their behavior away. This happens often with people that I value in my life. They'll explain away why they did whatever hurt me. And my response is typically, gosh, you know, what I hear you saying is that you think that there's a reason why it's okay for you to have done this thing or said this thing that hurts my feelings. And frankly, I don't think it's okay under any circumstances. I just want my feelings to matter. Can we just acknowledge my feelings matter, right? And leave off the, oh, but I just want you to understand. I hear you. It's just not helping. It's not helping. It's actually kind of making it worse. I'm wondering if you could just, you know, help me feel like you're understanding and respectful of my feelings. Now, granted, that's more of a perfect scenario. That's very unlikely in real life unless you've really been practiced at communication tools. So let's try this in real time, see what it would actually sound like. So listen, understand, validate. By the way, I want to encourage you to not try to get creative with this. People will, like, literally, I'll have them write down the script. What I heard you say is blank. Did I get that right? If I were you, I could see how you might feel blank. I will give them that frame and they will still go outside of the box. This is not a space where I want you to color outside of the box until you've practiced this enough times, experienced a sense of mastery, success, and connection with the other person over and over and over again. Until then, you might consider, like, okay, now I can get a little creative, maybe. But even then, why change what's working, right? So what I mean by that, by the way, just to give you an example, is instead of saying what I heard you saying is, people will skip over the first few words. I think they think like, oh, that's not fast enough, which this is a problem too that tends to result in communication mishaps, is people will generally want to take shortcuts in communication, and that is often when conflict happens. I really encourage you to avoid shortcuts. So what does that sound like correctly? Okay, let's say the scenario is I'm saying to a friend, let's say I blurt out, God, I feel like my needs never matter in this relationship. It's just always about you. Like, you never ask me how I'm doing, right? That's an emotional response, right? Like, how often have you maybe heard somebody say something like that? You never ask how I'm doing. You never ask about me. Everything just seems to be about you. Now, we want to implement love. So I'm going to now pretend I'm the friend, right? This is me role playing with myself. Alicia, what I hear, so listen, I just listened. There's no action, there's no observable action there. I listened. I heard what was just said. Understand, looking in that person's eyes, and if you can, hold their hand. That's so co-regulating. It helps to kind of ease some of the like physiological response of tension. So, Alicia, what I heard you just say is that you don't feel as though I show enough interest in asking about how you're doing or show consideration for your needs or your wants. Did I get that right? Now, in this case, because I didn't repeat back verbatim, that person might say, no, that's not quite what I said. I said, I don't feel like you care about fill in the blank. Or I might feel like, you know what, that is the essence of what I said. And I might say, yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I just feel like everything centers around your needs and that you don't show an interest in me. At this point, that person would then move on to validate. You know, if I were you, I would feel kind of lonely in this relationship. Is that how you feel? You could go on to that to clarify, or you might simply say, gosh, I'm so sorry. If I were you, I could see how that would feel really frustrating. And then they just stop there. People have a tendency when they get uncomfortable or they're feeling anxious or tense about whether they're saying the right thing, they then start rambling. And then they start rationalizing. This is where, but I do, or but I just, and now we're off to the races, and communication connection just got breached. So this is where you want to say the thing. You know, gosh, if I were you, I can imagine how that would be all really frustrating. and then be silent and look to the other person and see how they respond. Because if somebody said that to me in that moment, I would look at them and say, thank you. It is frustrating sometimes. And now we have connection, right? And now we have connection. And the most powerful thing you can then do if you're on the receiving end of this is say, I'm really sorry. I would never want you to feel that way, and it's never my intention. And the next time that happens, will you let me know in the moment? That is one of the most powerful ways to go about something like this. Now, sometimes it's a whole lot cleaner than what I just did. Sometimes it might be, gosh, you didn't wash the dishes like I asked you to do last night, right? Okay, listen, understand. What I hear you saying is that you're frustrated because I didn't wash the dishes last night and I said I would. Did I get that right? Yeah. Gosh, if I were you, I'd be pretty frustrated with me too. I'm really sorry. I'm going to go do that right now. Or I'm really sorry. Is there anything I can do to fix the situation right now? Because I see you already did the dishes. So after you validate, you can offer help. You can ask if there's anything you can do. I strongly encourage you to avoid jumping into problem solving mode. If you have not watched the YouTube video called I think it's all about the nail, or it's about the nail. I can't remember exactly. It is so good. It's not about the nail. That's what it's called. It's not about the nail. Pop over to YouTube. It is a fantastic and funny video all about the tendency that some people have to go into fix-it mode when what a person really just wants to know is, are my feelings safe with you? Do you care about how I'm feeling? Do you care about my pain? Will you be there when I just need to emotionally rest and fall into someone and feel like somebody cares about my heart and my feelings? That is really the essence of connection. So I hope this video is helpful. So that is the LUV acronym. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts for other videos you'd like me to plop up for you, I'm more than happy to do it. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook. And again, thank you so much for your support in my world. You are the reason that I am here. Mwah! Have fun, have an amazing day, and good luck connecting. Bye.